Hello, I am live. How's it going? Welcome to this episode of Ask Nadine. I have been posting a lot about the bucket system that I use, and I've been getting lots of really good questions about how to use the bucket system, what is the bucket system, and why do I love it so much. So today, to be honest, today I have been thinking a lot on how to approach this subject because it is a big iceberg and I want to give you bite-sized information so you can understand what the system is and why I like to use it, and also answer some questions that I received via DM. So today I decided that I'm going to tell you why one system, one account is not enough. And I am going to help you determine how many bank accounts you actually need. And also I am going to teach you my twist on this. So the bucket system, the envelope system, whatever you want to call it, it's not new. I didn't invent it. I've been using it for 10 years. I didn't know it was a thing until I started reading up on personal finance and all of that and started coaching. And I was like, oh my God, people actually teach this. I invented it for myself, but it has been invented out there. So the way I teach it is intuitive, and also my twist on it is not just from a financial system point of view. My twist on it is how can you use this system to actually honor your soul's desires, your heart desires, because so many people come to me having these wants and desires that they feel ashamed of having. And from day one, we are able to honor and start working and implementing and taking action on whatever they've been dreaming of for a long time from the very first session using this awesome system. So let us dive in. So number one, I'm just gonna keep looking at my notes. Number one is why one bank account is not enough. So first of all, the bucket system or the envelope system is basically having multiple sub accounts within the one account, or you can have two main bank accounts or three or whatever, or even one, but you have multiple sub accounts within it. So that is the gist of the bucket or the envelope method. So why is one not enough? So let me just begin the explanation by just saying I'm a Virgo, which means organization is innate in me. I know how to organize, I know how to breathe. So the way I picture, or when people come to me and they have one bank account without any buckets set up, it's like we have a big drawer, right? So we have this drawer in the house and we have everything in that drawer. Everything is going into that drawer. Eventually, you will not know what's actually in the drawer. You don't know if there's underwear in there, the shoes, shoelaces, books. You're looking for this thing. Is it in there? Is it not? Shall I just go buy another one because I might have one, I might not? That's how I imagine having one bank account looks like. However, when you go and buy these partitions from a dollar store or IKEA, when you have these little partitions and you open the drawer and you have a little section for paper clips, section for envelopes, section for, so why would you have socks on and envelopes in one drawer? Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You have a section for everything. That will help you know what you have and don't have. And that is the same for your money. Once you organize your money in the bucket system or in the envelope system, same, you will then know what you actually can and can't afford. Because a lot of people just have this default thinking of, I can't afford that, I can't afford that. Oh, it's a want, not a necessity, I can't afford that. But then when we start organizing their money and then organizing when their income comes in and how we distribute that across the buckets, they actually see that they have a lot of money left over that they can use for whatever the heck they want. And they wouldn't have known that had they piled all their money in the one bucket or one account. So I believe Lisa was asking this question. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm sure that everybody else is wondering why the heck would I do this? So that's why it is really a method of financially organizing yourself and understanding what you have and don't have. And once I get into how to set this up, you can set it up for any goal that you have. One moment. All right, so what else? So how to determine how many bank accounts you need. So the first thing you need to do is you need to look at your banking. Okay, so this is not a situation where we're looking at our bank accounts and cringing. This is just, or judging, this is just for curiosity. You are curious about where your money has been going, and that's for the past 3 months. Yep, 3 months, because that will give you an overall, a better overview picture of where the money has been going and all of that. So I recommend you look at your internet banking or your credit card statements or whatever you use and start categorizing. So what I usually do to help when I start with a client is that I get them to have a look at where their money is going and have a pen and paper handy and then start categorizing, because if we start grouping the expenses under a category, that is actually the start of your bucket. So typically you will have bills or mortgage and rent, bills, mortgage and rent. So that these obligations, then you probably will have groceries and then like dues and subscriptions. That works for personal accounts and business accounts, by the way. But today I'm talking about personal. So then you've got your vet bills, your kids bills, yoga, whatever. So you start categorizing and like writing down, so what is that under? Like, for example, alcohol, like buying a bottle of wine. What is that under? You start thinking, is that under groceries? Is that under outings? Is that under alcohol? Like, does alcohol need a bucket? No judgment, it's whatever works for you, because that's the magic about the system. It's how it works for you. So you start categorizing that, and then you will see how many buckets you actually need to create. So for us, for example, we have 10 buckets, and that's spread across 2 bank accounts. We had that when we were in the US. We used Capital One, and you create these buckets or sub accounts for free. With Capital One, we were able to do that online. Here in Australia, we use NAB and ING. I'm not affiliated to these people. Banks. I just like them. They work, and I was able to create buckets for free with both these banks. So, for us, we have 10 buckets, and that is, we've got rent and bills. We've got an RB bucket. So little RB has a bank account. We've got a bucket for overseas trips and a bucket for local trips. We have a bucket for car maintenance, groceries, entertainment and outings. And that for us, that includes wine and beer. So it's entertainment and outings. That's for us though. So it's up to you how you categorize that. Then there's a bucket for dance classes, yoga, workouts. And of course, there's the subscription bucket, which it adds up, doesn't it? Like all the Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you know what I mean. Anyway, so all these monthly subscriptions, Spotify, whatever. Then we've got a home down payment bucket, savings bucket, and a rainy day fund, which is a little bit different. I might not be able to get into that today, but I will one day. And we have a fuck it bucket, which I posted about a while ago. So once we determined our spending categories, we were able to create these buckets. So then what happens? So when your money comes in, you start putting money aside in each bucket. Let's say your rent and your bills add up to $2,000 a month. Every time you're paid, let's say you're paid twice a month or 4 times a month, or you have irregular income, you make sure that by the due date of rent and bills, and obviously not all of them will have the same due date, and that's the beauty of the bucket system, you will make sure that you have money in there to cover that expense by the due date. This way, every week or every time you're paid, every pay cycle, you are spending the same amount of money on your obligations. You don't have a week where you're like super thrifty because you had to pay rent, and then the next week you're like, oh my god, I have all that money, but next week I have to pay the water bill. Oh shit, I need to do an oil change, and that's something that that happens once or twice a year, and then you're all of a sudden like putting that chunky expense out. We look at these expenses and we determine how often they happen, and then we start budgeting for them every time you're paid. This way your spending will flatline. It will be just a flat line, no dramas, no ups and downs, and that is exactly what we want. So that is a very quick way of describing how you start on this. So the next point is that what I want to talk about is actually the whole point of this talk, this Ask Nadine, the whole point of everything that I do, online, offline, everything in my coaching, everything that I do is how the heck will that help me fulfill my heart and soul's desires? And in this case, how is this system going to help you fulfill your heart and soul's desires? So once you get comfortable with these buckets, you are going to start adding your values in there, like a bucket that fulfills a certain value, or when you start like going inwards and understanding what your goals and desires are from the inside, not, like from a holistic point of view, not like, oh, I want this, I want that for the wrong reasons. It's for the soul alignment reasons. You will be able to create a bucket for that and start planning and start saving for it straight away, because like sometimes we have this dream in our head. Once we create a bucket for it, once we know how much it will cost, once we know how long it will take to save for it or whatever, it will become a reality. It will manifest into the physical form. So that is the beauty of this bucket system. It's because you're going to learn how to use it for adulting, but you're also going to learn how to use it for real things. The real reason why we're here, the real reason why your soul chose to live on this earth, it's to experience. And I don't want you suppressing what you want to experience, what your soul wants to experience, just because of money. And this is how we mold money to meet our actual desires and wants, not just our obligations. So this has been long enough, I think. I am teaching a workshop